What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Run It Up podcast. I'm your host, Najee Jalaal. You know, I got my guy with me today, Jalal Sandy. My boy's on mute fixing his mic. That's a W podcaster because he could have let the mic just make all kind of noise and the shit while I was doing the intro, but no, he muted his mic, and now he's good. But yes, here he is.
You.
There we go.
I knew it would have been like,
Yeah, yeah. I hate that.
I just let you rock.
I appreciate it. Before we get into everything, make sure you guys subscribe to the Run It Up podcast on everywhere that podcasts are found. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Find us on TikTok at the Run It Up podcast, on Twitter at Run It Up Pod. You can find me on Twitter. I almost forgot the intro. You can find me on Twitter at @NajEadams_. Jalal at JSandy45. Justice and Khalil down in the description also. Today, it's pretty simple. The NBA playoffs have kind of already started because the play-in started yesterday and the actual playoffs start on Saturday. So we're going through our first round NBA playoff predictions. We were going to do the entire bracket, but that just feels like a lot right now. So we're going to do the first round of the NBA playoff predictions, and we're going to give our NBA awards predictions. So basically, a little NBA season in review that we'll get through. No NFL talk. The draft is next week, though, so we want to do one last mock draft episode next week before we get to Thursday, so you guys can look forward to that. But yeah, before we get into things, we gotta run through our songs of the week. I'll go first. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't even been listening to any new music. Like, I've been listening to pure nothingness because I feel like everything that's been coming out has been pretty horrible. But my song of the week is,
That's very fair.
Yeah. My song of the week is Long Journey from Rod Wave. And I had it came out in 2023 and I was spamming it when it came out. And then I kind of stopped listening to it. And for some reason, I just got back onto it a little bit ago. And I've been listening to it for like a good 3-4 months now. So shout out to Rod Wave. And what's your song of the week, bro?
My song of the week is by an artist named Shakur. I believe he's from Atlanta. And he had a project that came out in February. I started listening to him around like early January. Like, I was listening to my own music and the autoplay on Apple Music just played one of his songs. And I was like, oh, wait, this dude is kind of nice. So my song is Love in the Six by Shakur featuring Smino, my guy.
Nice. I've never heard that song, but I do. I feel like I would rock with it. I don't hate Smino, so I'm down to give it a listen.
Yeah, Smino. You could just turn on Smino and start driving immediately.
Yeah, he's good vibes. He's good vibes. As we record this, Jalal's Heat are currently busting the Bulls' ass. So yeah, so he's locked in. But I mean, I guess we can get it started, to be honest. So we already know the East 7 seed is the Magic. I feel like we gave our plan predictions last episode. Me personally, I had the Bulls beating the Heat today and then beating the Hawks to be the 8 seed, but I frankly don't really think it matters. You can put insert Hawks, Bulls, Heat into the 8 seed. We can start with the Eastern Conference. You insert the Hawks, Bulls, East into the 8 seed. I don't really think it matters. I just wrote down Cavs sweep the Bulls. I think the Cavs sweep the Bulls. I think the Cavs sweep the Heat. I think the Cavs sweep the Hawks. I don't really think it matters who the 8 seed is in either conference, if I'm being honest. I think the Cavs have been one of the most dominant teams in the league for the entire season now, in a different way than they kind of have been. I think Donovan Mitchell has been on a lot of great regular season teams. Like, those Jazz teams were great regular season teams, and then they got to the playoffs and it was like, maybe these guys are frauds. This feels different.
Take Rudy Gobert off the floor.
Yeah.
Forget about those days.
Jeez. This feels different. So I'm going to say first round for me, Cavs sweep whoever comes out in the 8 seed spot. I picked the Bulls, but currently they're getting their ass bust, so probably won't be the Bulls. But who did you have playing the Cavs?
I think I picked the Bulls too, just because I want.
You ain't had no faith in your guys.
No, I thought they would win. Actually, I just don't want them to because I want us to get a decent pick. They're just playing for pride, and Miami's really good at playing with pride. So when they're playing teams that, I mean, I think they have the best player on the floor. I don't think that's too far fetched to say. Like, I think if the Bulls and Heat are playing, Tyler Hero should be the best player on both sides on both teams.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
I was thinking about it. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But I mean, I think if the Hawks end up playing the Cavs, I think the Hawks get swept. I think Miami could get one just based off the fact that I just watched them last year get a game against the world champion Celtics. So I feel like they could pull one game out of their ass. Spo draws up miracles. He's one of the best coaches in the league, if not the best coach in the league, and has been for a while now. But it doesn't really matter in grand scheme of things. Whoever comes out as the eighth seed is losing in 5. If they make it to 6, it's a miracle. I'm gonna be honest, because the Cavs.
Is Tyler Hero the best player on any of the playing teams in the East?
I don't think he's better than Trey.
Okay, cool. Me either. I just want to make sure because I feel like Trey gets disrespected, so I just want to make sure we're on.
Wait, does that include the Magic? No, right?
If you wanted to, is he better than Paolo? You think?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'd say he's like 3 or 4. It depends because I said he's the best player. I don't know if he's actually the best player, but he's the best offensive threat they have.
I think he's the best player versus the Bulls.
Yes. But I'm saying, like, overall, Bam is probably the team's best player just because he does a little bit of everything. And, his contributions don't always show up on the stat sheet. But in terms of, like, a score offensive threat, like, their offense would be nothing without Hero. So, I mean, you can make the case. He's having a great year.
I guess that's a quick one for me. If we this guy's locked in. No, you're good. If we go to I guess Bucks, I mean not Bucks, I guess Celtics Magic. I honestly didn't really write too much down for this one either. I feel really good about the Celtics in this series. For some reason, people feel like the Magic are going to give them this crazy series.
I saw a tweet today. Somebody was like, why do I think it was a Knicks fan. It was either a Knicks fan or a Pistons fan. I can't remember. And they said, oh, no, it was a Cavs fan. And he said, why do I feel like the Magic are going to upset the Celtics? Just random. It wasn't even on my timeline. It was on my For You. And I'm like, why does everybody think the Celtics? I mean, now the Celtics have a propensity to not take things seriously and then tighten up when things get tight. But this is still the best team in the East as of right now. And they have been the best team in the East all season. To me, like in terms of like when the playoffs get here, not obviously the Cavs have been the best team in the East during the regular season. But when we were talking about like who do we think would make it out of the East, most people still pick the Celtics.
Yeah, I just don't know where it really comes from. Like I like Paolo more than 95% of people on the earth. I like Franz. I just don't know where people feel like, oh, the Magic have this advantage over the Celtics. Like they are one of the worst offenses in the NBA. They're bottom 3 in points per game. They're bottom 4 in field goal percentage, and they're number 30 in 3-point percentage. So, like, I don't really understand. Like, even if they get hot, them getting hot ain't that many points. like if they go from, that's what I'm saying. Like, they average 105 points a game. The Celtics average 116. Like, let's say the Magic get hot. That's probably still only 112 a game. Like, the Celtics are averaging more than they're getting hot. Like, so I just think that the ceiling is just not all that high for this team. I said Celtics in 5, just because I do think the Celtics like to, fuck off a couple games. Jaylen Brown's knee is kind of, a little bit weird. So I don't know. Maybe the Magic win a game. Maybe Paolo and Franz go crazy one game. Like you just said, y'all took a game off from last year. So like the Celtics aren't these like invincible, unbeatable people. But I don't know that it's gonna be a close series by any means.
I said Magic in 6. I mean, not Magic. Boston in 6. Boston in 6. I think the Celtics could sweep them. Like this could be over in a weekend. Like still restart on Saturday, Sunday, be over by Thursday or Friday. Like but I do think the Magic do pose an interesting like matchup defensively. Like they do lock in defensively. Franz does get hot. Paolo does get hot. And I don't think they necessarily have the wing defenders to guard Paolo. Like if Paolo just goes for 40, like they don't have anybody to be like, hey, you get Paolo. They're not. Jaylen Brown cannot guard Paolo. Paolo's too big for him. And Tatum, I think he's a little bit stronger than Tatum is. So he just poses problems for both of them. And there is a world where I see Paolo carrying them to one victory, and then there's another game where the Celtics just don't shoot well. We know they take about 53s a game, 40, 45, 53s a game, which is insane to say, but that's just how they found their success. And they're the only team that can do it the way they do it. But I want to say about the Celtics, I think Jayson Tatum deserves a lot more respect than people have been giving him. And it's all because of the fact that he did not win Finals MVP last year. And he was like he was shaky like the whole playoff run last year.
Bro, people are gonna look back on that final series and be like, "Damn, how the fuck did Jayson Tatum not win Finals MVP?" The same way they do for Steph and Iggy, it's gonna be the same shit. Not that Jaylen Brown is Iggy.
I think Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown had a legit case though.
He had a case, but Jayson Tatum was like the first player to lead the team in points, rebounds, and assists, and not win.
No, for sure. I got you. But I'm saying like Jaylen Brown winning didn't surprise me. Iggy winning Finals MVP surprised the hell out of me. Like genuinely, I couldn't understand it. This one, I was like, if you look at the numbers, it's similar. Just Jayson Tatum was averaging, I think, more assists and rebounds by a little bit, but they were averaging around the same amount of points, same efficiency shooting wise. So, and when you watch the game, to me, like it felt like Jaylen Brown was holding it down until Tatum got himself together, and then Tatum would pick it up when it was front running time. That's what I felt like. But this season, I see a completely different Jayson Tatum. I feel like he's been a top 5 player all season. He's going to be a first team all NBA player. We already know that. I feel like this year he's going to look like the guy that everybody expected him to look like 2-3 years ago. And it's fine to have those types of expectations for guys like Tatum because, you know, you come in and your first season, you're in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then by your third season, your fourth season, you're in your first finals, and your team is expected to make the conference finals literally every year. Like that's lofty expectations. But I don't know. People get like this weird fatigue, and then they start saying stupid shit. And you and me, we know Jayson Tatum's a top 10 player. I remember there was a conversation where people were saying Jayson Tatum wasn't a top 10 player. We both know he's a top 10 player.
He's easily a top 10 player.
And if you just turn on a Celtics game, it's clear he's the best player on the floor most nights. 80% of the time, I say 75% of the time, because sometimes Derek White and Jaylen Brown have nights. But 75 to 80% of the time, Jayson Tatum is the best player on the court.
I think that Jayson Tatum disrespect comes from one. I think a lot of people just hate the Celtics, so it's easy to look at the Celtics and be like, okay, cool, their best player, he stinks. I think also like Jayson Tatum doesn't really do a ton of like flashy things, but he's one of the most complete players we have in the league nowadays. Like he shoots the 3 ball relatively well. on like crazy shot difficulty. He's the best player on the team. He's number one on every team scouting report. He rebounds the ball. He passes the ball. He scores 27, 6, and 5 a night and guards the other team's best player. Like, he is one of the most complete players we have in basketball nowadays. And he has people, we don't really think about this now because Tatum's only 27, but like for a 27-year-old, he's got a damn good resume. You know, he doesn't have the individual accolades per se. Like, he doesn't have any MVPs, but he's a 6-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA, All-Star MVP, All-Rookie, NBA champ. I don't know how much people are going to give a fuck about Eastern Conference Finals MVP in 20 years, but like, he got that. And so it's like, he has a lot of accolades. And like, when you look at the top 10 players in the league, I'm looking, you know how the Ringer does their, ranking the 10 best, the 100 best players in the league. The top 3, we all know. Cool. Actually, I guess maybe we don't.
Do we?
I feel like we know the top 3. Yeah, it's Jokic, Shea.
Who's 3?
It's 1 or 2 people. So who do you think?
Is it Giannis or is it Luka?
It's Giannis. There we go. Number 4 is Tatum. So
this season, I agree with that. I agree with that this season.
I do too. I think he's been a top 5 player in the league this year. For real. Like,
yeah, that's yep.
Like, I
feel like,
truly do.
And he's consistent. Like, it's not, and it hasn't been any issue with him. He usually starts off there was also this notion, like, he used to start off the year slow. So like in November, December, he'd be shooting like 40% from the field, 32% from 3. Then all of a sudden, All-Star break comes around, January, February come around, and he starts wilding, shooting 50% from the field, 50% from 3, scoring 50 every other week. Like, there was a time where he was doing that, and I think it's more so just the consistency that has helped him become this guy, and he's cut down his turnovers. That was my number one issue with him.
He's just I think outside of Giannis, he's the best wing in the NBA. Like, I think he's the best wing outside of Giannis, unless you count Giannis as a big.
If Giannis is not a wing.
Okay, if Giannis is a big, then Tatum's the best wing in the league. People just act like he's the 14th best player in the NBA when that's just not true.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And so yeah, shout out to us. We might as well be a Celtics podcast, but we got
fuck the Celtics.
I mean, fuck the Celtics for me too.
Fuck the Celtics.
But I do rock with Jayson Tatum. I got Celtics in 5.
Fuck Tatum. I just give dudes their respect.
You got Celtics in 6. The next East series is Knicks Pistons. I'll let you start this one off.
You've been waiting for this. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I know you've been waiting for it. I don't know that I've been waiting for it. I made a take, and I don't think it's a crazy take. And our friend Daniel's a Knicks fan. He was going batshit insane, posted it on Twitter that I said this. I said my take was, I think the Pistons give the Knicks a tough series, and Cade Cunningham is going to be the best player in the series. And I don't think that's that crazy. Like, I think in 4 games versus the Knicks, Cade is putting up 31, 5, and 8 on 56, 52, 80 splits. Like, he is demolishing them in 4 games. They have no answer for him. OG, McHale, Josh Hart, whoever, it doesn't matter. Cade is going to average 28 at least this series. The problem is they don't have anyone else that is a reliable scorer. Malik Beasley has off nights. Yes, he was almost the league leader in threes coming off the bench, which is like pretty sick. But like, outside of those two, I don't know where you're getting your offense from. Tobias Harris, Asar Thompson, Jalen Duran lobs, not really much shot creation there. So, and even with that, the Pistons won the season series 3-1. But the only like real game that these teams played was back in January. The first 2 Jaden Ivey played, so we can't count those. And the last one, there were like a bunch of Knicks sitting. So the Pistons won 124-119. They shot 44% from 3 as a team. I don't think that's sustainable. And they only won by 5? And they had a career best shooter night. I just don't think these teams are that far off than people are saying. Like, the Pistons are 12th in net rating. The Knicks are 8th. The Knicks won 7 more games with significantly more talent. Like, we can go down the Knicks roster and find, I don't know, 4 or 5 better players before we get to the Pistons' second best player. And they won 7 less games. Overall, though, I just think the Knicks out-talent them. I think they force Cade into mistakes. It's his first playoff series. The Pistons commit the 10th most turnovers in the league, and the Knicks are 3rd in points off turnover. So I think their inexperience will hurt them. I think they will literally force Cade to make every pass, do literally everything on offense, and then still come down and have to guard somebody. And I think at the end, like, he just won't be able to put them on his back enough to overcome the talent deficit. So I say Knicks in 6. But I think we see a little legacy Cade series, and I don't think that's crazy. But who you got?
What do you mean legacy Cade series? How's it a legacy series?
I say like 28. Give me like 28, 7, and 6, and I'm cool.
But you can't call it a legacy series because they have to win the series for it to be a legacy series.
All right, maybe not a legacy series, but we get like a put his name on the map series.
Like he's arrived.
Playoff series, yeah. Taking the Knicks 6 when you got your second best player is Malik Beasley. Like, I think that's a good little start for Cade.
Yeah, okay. I had to check you on that. I'm like, legacy. But yeah, you're right. I also have the Knicks in 6. I think it could be 5, if I'm being honest.
Could be.
But I think
I
think the Pistons. I don't know. The Knicks are funny, man. Like their offense is really good and their defense is so up and down. Like when you look at them on paper, you're like, they should lock up every team's 2 to 4. They should lock them up because you got Josh Hart and Mikal and OG to guard the wings. And be honest with you, Cat's defense has not been great this season. And we know Jalen Brunson is not the greatest defender in the world. Partially that's just because he's small. Any 6'1" guard is going to be tough to run through screens and do all the things that guards need to do. Everybody's not Davion Mitchell. Like if you're going to be 6'1" guarding people, you got to be built like a tank. So I think I don't know, like the Pistons, everybody loves the Pistons. Like this year, we all watched them go from literal dog shit to finally Cade being healthy. They finally have a good coach. Let's not forget that. Jalen Duren's been healthy for most of the season, and Malik Beasley's been a revelation. Tobias Harris just been a solid veteran. Not too bad, not too good. And then you got Isaiah Stewart, pot stew, whatever the fuck his name, beef stew, coming off the bench, just knocking dudes out, ready to just scrap with whoever. So I feel like it's gonna be an entertaining series. I think the Knicks and Pistons styles match very well. Like the Knicks play hard, they're physical. The Pistons play hard and they're physical. I just think the Knicks have more talent and a better offense. And in a 7-game series, you need guys that can withstand the adjustments of an entire series. This is Cade's first playoff series. I think people have to realize that we're in an era of social media where people just think that things happen overnight because they were spoiled by some of the greats that are now at the tail end of their prime. But realistically speaking, a lot of great players, it takes time. Like Michael Jordan didn't win his first playoff series. LeBron didn't win his first playoff series. Actually, he did. But like all the great players throughout history didn't just become great their first playoff run throughout their career. Like the Cavs did win that first series LeBron played, but then they got beat by the Pistons the next round. So like it takes some time, man. And everybody's not LeBron. Literally no one's LeBron.
Damn right. And I think that I think 2 things. Like usually if you have 4 of the 5 best players in the series, you're gonna win. Like that's just how that goes most of the time. And then so we both say Knicks in 6, which means the Pistons have to win 2 games. So what I'd ask you is if the Pistons leave New York up 2-0, do you change your prediction?
Huh? If the Pistons win both games if
the Pistons leave New York up 2-0, do you change your prediction or you still say Knicks in 6?
I would change it, but I think the Knicks still win.
Okay. That's what
I would say Knicks. I would say Knicks in 7. Like, because You ever seen a series? Do you remember that Celtics Bulls series from like I think it was 2017 when the Bulls had like D Wade, Rondo, Jimmy Butler. They played the Celtics. And the series starts off in Boston, and the Bulls go to Boston and win the first 2 games. And everybody was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, I do
And
remember.
this is when the Celtics had Isaiah Thomas. This is before Kyrie. This is before Tatum. So Isaiah Thomas was just carrying them. So we get to game 3, and then the Celtics win game 3 and game 4, and then they just went on to win in 6. So, I mean, it happens. It happens. I don't think the Pistons are consistent enough to pull it off. Like, young teams just don't, like, I don't know if they'll be able to handle that type of pressure.
Yeah. No. I'm with you. It came to my head, so I was like, damn, I wonder what I would do if that happened.
And I think I trust right now. I think I trust Jalen Brunson in a big game more than I trust Cade Cunningham, just because Brunson has been in that moment so many times, and he's clutch as hell. If we're being,
and he's a playoff riser. He's a playoff riser.
He is. He is.
Last year he averaged 32.
Yeah, but he had crazy. They lost Randall. And then Josh Hart was playing hurt, and they didn't really have anybody else to go to. Like, Mikal wasn't there last year. OG was in and out last year. No Randall, and now they didn't have Cat and didn't have Randall like either. So now it's a little bit different. So I think he can kind of pick his spots. But I mean, if I'm counting on somebody to have a big game, I think Brunson will be the guy. Like, I don't think Cade is going to give Brunson issues on defense.
No, I feel that. We're both aligned, Knicks in 6. The last series in the East, the one that is honestly I had the most trouble with. I would like to know your thoughts on this one first. Pacers, Bucks.
Oh shit! I ain't even write it down. Hold up.
Do you know off the dome?
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Damn.
It's hard though.
Yeah, it is hard, bro. It is hard. Because I can literally see Giannis just one man. I can see it. Like, if I close my eyes, I can see Giannis one man willing the team to a series victory. And Bobby Portis is coming back.
And Dame could be back by, like, if they push it like 5, 6, I don't think you might get a Dame game.
I don't think they're gonna touch that. Just an update on this play-in game. Tyler Hero has 23 points on 8 of 8 shooting. We'll see y'all on Friday.
You going to ice trade a gang? You going to Atlanta, boy?
Yeah, we'll probably beat them, to be honest.
Wouldn't be shocked.
Back to the Bucks thing. If so, jeez. I don't want to sit here and disrespect the Pacers. I think the Pacers are a very solid team. They have a lot of depth. They're good at a lot of different things. They defend. They can shoot. Tyrese Halliburton's still one of the best playmakers in the NBA. Pascal Siakam is not a scrub. Miles Turner, one of the best rim protectors in the league. And I still feel like Giannis could do it. Like, he's that good. And I mean, he's a champion. He's a 2-time league MVP. He's a finals MVP. He's an all NBA player. When they played last year, I think it was reversed. Dame played and Giannis didn't play. And if I recall correctly, last season, Giannis had 60 on them. So I think he's had 60 on them more than once. Or he's had like 50, 60, and then he had like 50.
He had his career high on them. Absolutely.
No, yeah, his career high is on them, but I think like the career high before that was also against.
Well, so on them, okay, yeah.
But I think this is going to be the best series in the East. Like, these guys are technically division rivals. Like, I know this is not football, but they play each other 4 times a year, so they're very familiar with each other. And I don't trust Doc Rivers to outcoach. The Pacers coach is not coming to me at all.
Rick Carlisle.
Thank you. Don't trust him to outcoach Rick Carlisle, but I just think Giannis is so great as his face pops up on my television. I don't see any way that the Pacers stop him. Giannis is much better than the player he was when the Bucks won the championship in 2021. Like the book on Giannis used to be just pack the paint, build a wall. He's gonna try to run through you. Now Giannis could post you up and shoot a fadeaway. Like he's one of the most efficient mid-range scorers in the NBA. And it's not on low volume, it's on respectable volume. And he's averaging 30.
He's unreal.
He's improved. He's improved as a playmaker. We already know he's a great defender. And I mean, like the Bucks, I didn't love the moves that they made, like getting Kyle Kuzma, whatever. Kevin Porter Jr. hasn't playing really well as of late. Gary Trent can get hot. So like they have pieces, like shooters. They got guys that can defend. They got guys that can score. And like I said, Bobby Portis is coming back. And Bobby Portis, at least when they're playing in Milwaukee, Bobby be having them Bobby games. And the crowd be like, Bobby. Yeah, like shit is crazy when they play in Milwaukee. I think I'm going to say Bucks in 6. I'm going to say Bucks in 6. And the Pacers are probably going to prove everybody wrong. But like I don't think the Pacers are trash. I just feel like it's a bad matchup. I feel like it's a bad matchup for both teams because like they play well against each other every time they play. Literally, the last time they played, somebody hit a crazy shot. I think it was Tyrese Halliburton hit like a game-winning fadeaway shot out of bounds over Giannis. Yeah, like every time they play, it's a close game. It's entertaining. Like I think this is gonna be a crazy series, with or without Dame. And I feel like if I have to pick someone to show up in a game 6 or game 7 and close out a series, I'm picking Giannis every single time.
I'm picking a guy who just gave me 50 in the closeout finals game.
That's what I'm saying. And I might pick Giannis. I might pick Giannis over like a Shea or a Jokic too. Like in that situation, I've seen him. I mean, we've seen Jokic do it, but we haven't seen Shea do it. We technically haven't seen Tatum do it in the finals or like at the highest stage. He's done it against the lower teams, and
he hasn't been like an underdog and like willed his team.
Yeah.
You know, that just hasn't happened.
I couldn't tell you the last time the Celtics have been an underdog. Maybe when they played the Cavs in 2018. Yeah. Since then, they've been favorites, but fuck the Celtics.
I have Bucks in 7, bro. I think like my gut, I wanted to say Pacers in 6 because they're really not a bad team, bro. They're really not. They're a good ass team.
They're a really good team. They're better than they were last year.
If Dame was playing, I would have said Bucks in 6. But this made me really think, and my gut just says, bro, like like sometimes having the best player in the series is enough. Like sometimes, especially when the gap is as big as it is in this series. Like in the Lakers Timberwolves, the Lakers have the best player in the series. Luka's a top 5 player and it's a top 8 player, right? Like the gap isn't that crazy. The Bucks have the 3rd best player in the NBA, and the Pacers have the 20th. You know, like that's a big gap. So I think that like, and that's not to say Tyrese Halliburton isn't good. He's a top 6 point guard in the league. It's just like there's levels to it. Like Giannis is an all-time great. We've seen him perform. We've seen him do insane things. Even this season, bro, his numbers are crazy. He's having one of the best finishing seasons we've ever seen. His points per possession, the Bucks score 9.1 more points per possession when he's on the court rather than when he's off the court. Like that's 96th percentile. The opponent teams score 2.8 points per possession less, 75th percentile. Like he is just insanely good. And you're right. Like he has changed his shot diet up a bit. Like he's still really good at the rim. Like he still takes a lot of rim shots. I'm trying to find it now, but he does take way more middies. He's taken more middies this year than he has in any other season. I'm looking it up now. So his shots at the rim are a little bit down, but his middies, he's taken 36% of his shots are middies, which is the highest of his career by far. And he's knocking them down at like a relatively good clip, 44% on middies. Like easily the highest of his career.
That's above average.
Like that's
like he's not KD and Shea. because KD and Shea are just elite mid-range scorers. But 44% is very respectable. And you can't just sit here and let him live there because he will kill you there.
I think he's the best two-way player in the NBA. I think he is like, I think like after Dame went down, he somehow reached an even higher level than he was already at before. And when I look at the series, like I do want to really say, like, the Pacers are not a bad team. Like, they're one of 7 teams in the league have a positive record versus teams with 500 records and above. The Pacers are one of those 7 teams. So, like, no team in NBA history has ever won the finals having a negative record versus teams over 500. So really only 7 teams can win it, and the Pacers are one of those 7 teams, and I'm still taking Giannis to beat them. Like, they're 5th in fast break points. The Bucks were 3-1 versus them this year. All those games had Dame though, so like it is a little bit of like, do we really believe that? But regardless, bro, I'm taking Giannis. Since March, he's putting up 34, 11, and 8 with a steal and a block per game. It's like, this is a guy in his prime who might end up being one of the 12 best players to ever touch a basketball. Like, I don't know that I can sit here and look at Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam and say, you're going to be the reason he's not playing 2 weeks from now. So I'm going to take the Bucks in 7. I think it's going to be a really fun series. I think it's going to be a great series. I can see the Pacers winning this. I just think that, like, when push comes to shove and Giannis says, I don't really want to lose this game, it's tough to make him lose it. So yeah, that's for me.
I just wanted to look up Giannis's stats since Dame got hurt. So basically since March 18th, he's averaging 30 points, 11 rebounds, 8.5 assists on 59% shooting.
Like, what are we supposed to do here? Like, they gotta hope Pascal Siakam don't get in foul trouble, because that's really their best. Their secondary
Turner on him.
No, that's barbecue chicken. Their secondary defender on him is Andrew Nembhard. Like, good fucking luck. That's what they've done in their matchups. Like, they put, if Pascal's out or he's on the bench or he's in foul trouble, they're putting Nembhard on him. Good luck.
And then they send help.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's a good plan if you send help on the drive. Mm-hmm. But then you got to recover, and guess what? The ball's going right back to Giannis. So like, it's, you got to play 24 seconds of really great defense.
Or like this version of Giannis, like maybe in the past that works because like he's not willing to take the pull up midi or the face up midi. Whereas like now Giannis is shooting over Andrew Nembhard. That's not a contest. Like, it might as well be wide open. You feel me? So yeah, we're both taking the Bucks. We're not going to go over the second round matchups, but that would set up, because I think we took the same teams. That would set up Celtics, Knicks, and Bucks, Cavs. I think those are two good series.
Good second round.
Yeah, that's 2 good series. I cannot lie to you. So
honestly, with all of the teams that are in the East, like, that's the best you can ask for.
Absolutely.
Given all the issues that people have with the East being weak, like, that's the best case scenario. I don't think people really want to see the Pacers play. You want to see the best teams with the best players in that conference, and the Cavs, Celtics, Bucks, Knicks all have the 4 best players in the East. Brunson, Mitchell, Giannis, and Tatum.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Boom. And so we can go on to the West. That bracket is a little bit more, honestly, this is a good first round. Like, we got some good matchups all throughout. For me, I took Dallas. I think Dallas is going to be the 8 seed. I believe in Anthony Davis. I don't know. Like, I just think that if it's between him and the Kings, I'm taking AD. And if it's between him and the Grizzlies, I'm taking AD. So I have it doesn't really matter though. It could be Dallas, it could be Sacramento, it could be Memphis, OKC in 4. they're sweeping whoever they play.
I think you picked the Mavs. I think I said Memphis, but I felt like now that after watching last night's game, if Ja's not healthy, I can't pick Memphis to play. So I think whoever wins the Mavs Kings game tonight is the 8th seed, and I think it's gonna be the Kings. Because Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, say what you will, the playoff invitational maestros. They've been hooping, bro. They've been hooping.
They have. So that's why this game tonight should be a good one. But regardless, did you have a like OKC and what for you in the first round?
4.
Yeah.
4.
Okay. Cool. Good. We're on the same page. That moves to Rockets Warriors. I'm curious of your thoughts on Rockets Warriors. I think this is one of the more polarizing series of the first round. So talk to me.
Every time we brought up the Rockets, I've been pretty hellish on them, but I'm not hellish enough to pick them over the Golden State Warriors. I have Golden State in 7. I do think the Rockets pose legit issues for them. Like
I do too.
Amen Thompson has done an excellent job on Steph Curry. Like I think obviously I don't feel like he'll lock him down for 7 games, but 2 games, like if Steph has 2 off games, you could win those 2 games. Now, be honest with you, brother. I watched that game last night,
Jimmy,
and I saw what Jimmy Butler did.
It's real.
I shed a real nigga tear because I was like, I used to love that.
This used to be on your side.
I love watching that. Yeah. I'm real familiar. It's a little different when it's not on your team. Like, yeah. But in all seriousness, like if Steph Curry is giving you 30 and Jimmy's giving you 25 to 30, good luck. Jeez. Good luck. But I think the Rockets are a young team. They love to run. They defend. They're physical. Ime Udoka is a great coach, regardless of
got them out the mud in 2 seasons.
He got the Celtics to the finals. Yeah. He just didn't finish the job. Unfortunately, he ran into this dude that he's about to play again. The last time he coached the series, he played against the same team. So he knows how they play. It's a little bit different because Jimmy's not Andrew Wiggins and they don't have Jordan Poole anymore. But
or Clay.
True. I forgot Clay was there. I picked the Warriors just because I think they have you can make an argument they have the 2 best players in the series.
I don't even think it's an argument. I think it's a clear 2 best players in the series.
Okay. Yeah. So they more likely than not have the 2 best players in this series. I do feel like the Warriors bench is a little but I like what I'm seeing from Quentin Post. He's been knocking down threes like a madman. Draymond's been playing out of his mind. We know what he does, all the intangibles, the defensive stuff, playmaking. Buddy Hield's been pretty mind games, ejections, maybe an elbow. Who knows? But and Brandon Podziemski has been playing really well too. So I mean, they have guys who can just contribute little by little, and everybody defends. Like the Warriors are a great defensive team. They've been pretty good defensive team all season. They force a lot of turnovers. And like I said before, the Rockets, it's a good thing that they have some veterans like Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams, because the rest of their team is really inexperienced. I don't think anyone on the team has played a playoff game outside of those 2. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'll look up their roster just to double check.
Don't they have Jeff Green?
Is Jeff Green still in the league? My goodness. I didn't even know he was still on the Rockets, bro.
I think they have Jeff Green. Yeah, they definitely have
their roster real quick. Dylan Brooks. So outside of Steven Adams, Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet, I'm looking here. Jeff Green is still on the team. And was Jason Tate on those Harden teams?
We don't. He doesn't do shit.
I don't know. I'm just talking about like just veterans to have on the team.
Yeah, Jayson Tate, maybe.
And I see Aaron Holiday here. Aaron Holiday's been on the Hawks a couple times when they made the playoffs. Other than that, like they don't have a lot of guys who bid in the moment. And I mean, there's no worse time to try to get ready for the moment when you're playing dudes that have been there for the better half for the last 10 years. Jimmy Butler's been to 2 finals. Steph Curry's been to like 7. Listen, this is the worst possible matchup for a young team, but I think the Rockets will gain some respect from a lot of people who don't believe in them, don't believe in their youth. I expect Jalen Green to have a really good series. I expect Alperen Şengün to have a good series, and I think with their length and their youth, they will give the Warriors issues. But ultimately, the light-skinned assassin and the ultimate troll and the donkey will prevail.
Donkey. Yeah, I think yeah, I don't know. I think I took Warriors in 6. I think the Rockets are gonna I think they're gonna get respect from a lot of people. I think they're gonna go into the offseason and be like, we're a couple moves away. They strike me as like the perfect between them and the Mavs, the perfect Kevin Durant trade team.
Mm-hmm. Like their name just came up in a KD discussion earlier today.
I feel like they need one more piece. You know, the Mavs have to make up for like a whole amount of fuckery that they can just tell people like, I know Kyrie's out for the year, but we got you KD and AD, and the Rockets feel like they are one piece away. But regardless, I took Warriors in 6. Since Jimmy's first game, February 8th, the Warriors are first in defensive rating in the entire NBA, third in net rating in the entire NBA. So not only do they have the better offense and the better defense, they have the 2 best players in the series by a fairly large margin. The thing with Houston is they're a really scrappy team. They have the best offensive rebound percentage in the NBA, most second chance points in the NBA. So the Warriors they are pretty they do match up with that pretty well. They give up the 5th least second chance points in the NBA since Jimmy got there. So I think this series will be a lot about neutralizing how many second chance points the Rockets get. Keep them off the glass, get the defensive rebound. Don't let Alpi get 3-4 rebounds in a possession. Don't let Amen Thompson come flying from the fucking baseline, flying from the 3-point line to get a rebound. None of that. Make it, if they take one shot per possession and you go down the other way. And I think that's the formula for the Warriors to win. If they start getting into, oh shit, Jalen Green takes his 3rd shot of the possession, then I think they get into a little bit of worries. These teams have played twice since the Jimmy Butler trade. First game was where the Rockets were without Jabari and Fred. The Warriors won by 7. In the most recent game, both teams are fully healthy. Rockets won by 10. Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler combined for 16 points on 5 of 17 shooting. Steph only had 3. And it wasn't the playoffs, so Jimmy wasn't even playing real basketball. In that game,
I'm not buying that. Not buying that.
You know,
he just had 30 He just had 30 the other night against the Clippers.
You right? All right, cool.
That the last game of the season.
That makes but he was getting ready for the wind up.
Yeah, you know what
I mean? In that game, Dylan Brooks had 24, and I think we already talked about Amen Thompson was giving Steph trouble. Rockets out rebounded them, had 5 less turnovers, 14 more fast break points, 16 more points in the paint. The problem is that like the Rockets did all that, outplayed them. Steph Curry had 3 points and they won by 10. And Jimmy Butler took 7 shots. Like you would think that the margin for victory would be way more higher for them, but like that just shows that like you can do all that. That's the perfect game plan for the Rockets, and it was a 10-point win. And it's like, hey, if Steph Curry has 12 in that game, they probably lose. If he has 8, they might lose, you know? And so it's like, I just think their margin for error is so much higher, but they have given Steph trouble. Like he's under 20 points in 2 of his 3 games versus them this season, but it's the playoffs, and the lowest he's ever averaged in a playoff series is 23 back in the 13-14
and that was
season.
20. Yeah, I was about to say that was like 2014.
So like that's a year ago. Like he's not
against the Greg Popovich Spurs.
Yeah, like he's just not happening. So I just think that the Warriors will end up winning this in 6. I think they're probably a top 3 team in the West. And it's a successful season for the Rockets. It is. And so yeah, we're both aligned. We haven't picked a different team this whole time. So boom. Next one, Clippers Nuggets. This is
the one I've been waiting for.
Yeah, this is probably the best series in the entire first round. I guess you went first last time. I go first this time. I took Nuggets in 7. Probably the best first round series for me. Since Kawhi started playing again, I counted it as January 2nd, but he's been like in and out the lineup. But for the most part, January 2nd is when he locked in. Clippers are 4th in net rating in the entire NBA, 2nd best defense in the NBA behind just the Thunder, 31-18. For me, it's just tough to bet against Jokic and tough to bet on Kawhi. Like, you know, like the last time Kawhi played a series to completion was the 2021 playoffs versus Dallas in the first round. They won. Then they beat the Jazz when he only played 4 of those games. Since then, he played 2 games in the 23 playoffs, 2 games in the 24 playoffs. So he hasn't finished a series in 4 years. And he's going against the best player on the planet. So for me, it's just tough to be like, hey, I'm going to bet against one of the 8 best players we've seen to bet on a guy who I know might not finish the series, who hasn't shown me he can finish a series. So I just can't. Like, I think the Clippers are a really good team. I think they have a lot of good things. Harden is playing really well. Norm Powell playing really well. Zubats might be a all NBA caliber player, should be on the all defense team. I just know Jokic will be there. I know he's the best player in the world. I know he's motivated, maybe more than ever, to win. And they have one of the best playoff risers in NBA history in Jamal Murray healthy. So I take the Nuggets in 7 because I've seen them do it before. But regardless, great series. Who you got?
I picked Clippers in 7, and I feel like this series can go either way. I like the Clippers' entire roster as a whole better than I like the Nuggets. I think
the Nuggets. You don't like the Westbrook revenge game?
First of all, well, yeah, whatever. The Nuggets just lost their coach that they've had for like the last 10 years, maybe 8. I think
he was like
8.
the 4th longest tenured coach.
Yeah, and to me, it's like for a team to, I mean, Jokic is, if anybody can overcome that, it's Jokic. But like, how do you go into a playoff series against one of the best coaches in the league, and Ty Lue, still one of the best coaches in the league, one of the best, the most fleshed out rosters, guys who, it's a team full of veterans. James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Zubac now is a veteran. He's been in the league for a minute, and we can officially call him a veteran. They've got guys like Derek Jones and Chris Dunn who just contribute in different areas. I think Chris Dunn is one of the most underrated defenders in the league. Like, he, as soon as people will have to bring the ball up the court and he's coming up and got to defend you 94 feet, good luck, bro.
Bro, you can look back at my tweets from the offseason. I wanted us to sign Chris Dunn so bad. He's
in that like Davion Mitchell like tier where, like, you know that they're not gonna carry you to a victory, but their contributions are so vital to winning, like just defending, not turning the ball over, being consistent on offense, and not trying to do too much. Like, we know Chris Dunn is not a scorer, but if he can give you 8 to 10, that's a win. And I saw a tweet today that said, I think this season, NBA fans, like as a whole, have gained so much respect for James Harden. Like, if there's any season that we feel like we don't have to complain about anything about James Harden, it's this season. And I feel like it's because the Clippers have been so low key all season. Like, you think about when Harden was on, obviously when he was in Brooklyn, and before that it was drama in Houston before he left. Then he wanted out of Brooklyn, got to Philly, didn't want to be in Philly. So like, there's always been a headline and a spotlight on James Harden. This is the first time where like people didn't really care about what was going on with James Harden, partially because I think people counted out the Clippers early on because they didn't have Kawhi and Paul George left. So, I mean, on paper, they looked decent, but they didn't look good enough for us to take them seriously. Fast forward 8 months later, the Clippers are maybe the most underrated team in the league, and they've got 4 guys who can score 20. So, I mean, this is the Norman Powell factor here. Like, I'm not going to say Kawhi is the reason why they win this series because, like you said, I'm not counting on Kawhi playing even to his max potential every single game. I don't even know if he's going to make it out of the series. I hope he does because I'm tired of seeing him grabbing and rubbing his knees. James Harden is not the same James Harden from Houston, not even from Brooklyn. He's not going to give you 30 every night. Mm-hmm. And he can't consistently score that much throughout a 7-game series. Like, he might give you one game where he give you 35 on hot shooting. The difference is Zubac has taken a jump. Norman Powell's taken a jump. And then the coaching discrepancy is huge. Like, I don't know who's the no disrespect.
David
I don't know who he
Adelman.
is.
They're 3-0 since they fired.
I do know who that is. I'm not gonna lie. I do know who that is. But I don't like the Nuggets like team as a whole. I think they are so predicated on it. They're kind of like the Knicks of the West. Their starting six is like that's where everything comes from. Jokic, MPJ, Murray, Gordon, and I think Christian Braun starts now. So Christian Braun, and then Westbrook, and maybe Jalen Pickett, Peyton Watson.
Yeah.
Like who? Zeke Najee.
Yeah.
Like who's the guy you need? Yeah, fuck you, nigga. Who's the? Because if let's say Jamal Murray has a bad game, we've seen series where Jokic will average 28, 10, 7, cooking, and Jamal Murray's just not giving it his all. You can't play the Lakers every time, and then there may be a series like they need everyone to play consistently. Like you haven't seen that all season. This isn't the time where Jokic is just gonna will team. And I feel like I'm contradicting myself because I say Giannis could do it. Me saying Jokic can do it is kind of crazy. But I just think the Clippers are much better than the Pacers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, dude,
and it's easier for me. It's easier for you to be like, we're just gonna let Jokic cook, and we're gonna guard everybody else because that's what the Timberwolves did. They threw bodies at Jokic, and they were like, we'll just let Jokic drop 35, and we're just not gonna let Jamal Murray score 30.
Do the Clippers have 3 of the 4 best players in the series? Right? Because like you say Jokic, and then who's the next Nugget you say? I think you say Jokic, and then you say Kawhi, Harden, Zubac.
Well, I would put Harden over Kawhi at this point.
Okay, regardless, Harden, Kawhi. I think Zubac is better than Jamal Murray.
It's an argument, but I wouldn't definitively say that.
I think I'd say it after this season.
I think Zubac's role is different from Murray, so it's hard to compare like whose is more valuable and who like what they have to do every game. Like Zubac is the rim protector of his team, but like Jamal Murray, when he's healthy, I guess, which he never is, he is, I mean, a volume scorer. He can give you 25. So I mean, I feel like in the playoffs, that's a little more valuable than rim protection because we've seen the greatest rim protector of this generation get played off the floor.
No, brother, yeah, Rudy Gobert. I was like, who is this guy talking about? But yeah, what a great segue.
Speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we both take I take Nuggets in 7, you take Clippers in 7. I don't mind either way. Like I'm cool with either one. I think it should be a banger of a series. The last series on our hands, Lakers Wolves. I mean, and y'all already know where I'm going, so I'm interested to see your thoughts on this series. Who do you have coming out of this one?
Why are you interested to see my thoughts? You know, I don't like the Timberwolves. Like I don't like anything that they do.
No, I didn't think you would take them.
The Timberwolves are not a serious organization to me. So Lakers at 5. Lakers.
You gave less credit than I did. I said Lakers in 6.
Lakers at 5. The Timberwolves are terrible, bro.
I don't know, bro. I feel like that too, but then I get scared that like they did just make the conference finals. It's a different team, granted. And Julius Randle is one of the worst playoff players we have ever seen, like in NBA history. Like I tweeted it out today. He is like the playoff dropper shit isn't fake. He's played 15 career playoff games. In his last playoff run in 2022-23, his effective field goal percentage went from 53.9 in the regular season to 43.2. Oh, 10-point drop in efficiency from 68% at the rim to 61% at the rim. From 45% on middies to 36% on middies. From 35% from 3 to 26% from 3. Like
45% from 3?
No, 35.
In the regular.
35.
Oh, 35.
35.
I'm like, what?
Back in 2020, he shot 41% from three in the regular season.
I remember that. And they were like,
31%
Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Julius Randle was playing so well in the regular season for the Knicks. People were saying he's better than prime Chris Bosh. And I was like, yo, what are we doing, man?
And then the playoffs
Who do y'all
came.
think Julius Randle is?
The playoffs come, and he's just not the same guy. Like, some guys just don't got it. Some guys are just regular season merchants, and that's okay. And
well, I don't think it's like, I don't want to say like guys are regular season merchants. I think the truth is guys' playing style just is not conducive with the way that you need to win in the playoffs.
But
like
that
Julius
to me
Randle,
means that you're a regular season merchant.
Well,
like, if you can't adjust your game to play in high leverage situations, then you're a regular season merchant.
You got me. You got me.
I just think no, go.
I'm a Julius Randle hater. Like, I think he's a solid basketball player, but I wouldn't want him on my team. If there's a team I'm rooting for, I don't want him on my team. I love Anthony Edwards, love his game. We're not going to talk about the off the court stuff because my God, but he's a great player. I have expressed my issues with the way he's played this season. I do think that he should consider just being more aggressive. It is the playoffs. You're not going to get as many calls as you usually get, but don't do the refs any favors. Like, don't settle for threes when you know, one, you're playing the Lakers. Two, you're playing LeBron James. So, like, you gotta put some pressure on the refs. So my challenge to Anthony Edwards would be just be as aggressive as you can possibly be without hurting your team. Because Julius Randle's going to do that anyway.
Yeah, so, I can't have two people do it.
You can't have two people doing it.
You got to counteract him being ass, but you being great.
Yeah. I think the main thing for me in this entire series, I think the things that the Timberwolves do well, the Lakers counteract just as well. Like, they are good when Gobert's on the floor. The Lakers are going to play Gobert off the floor. You got two of the best guys in the league at attacking mismatches. That's literally, they are, I'm going to attack the mismatch merchants.
That's our
switch hunting merchants. LeBron's been doing that since 2010. And Luka's been doing it his whole career. Like, you cannot, and now
like,
they done taught Austin Reeves how to do it.
They see Rudy Gobert on the block. They like,
LeBron do the little.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, at the end of it all, I think the Timberwolves get one game, probably game 4, if I had to guess.
We go. It's playoff. That's great. I love that.
I mean, I hate when people do this. They root for a team and they know their team is good, and they're like, I don't know, I'm a little nervous. Like, when you know your team is much better than the Timberwolves. I would say, I think LeBron gonna chill a little bit this series. I think he's just gonna let Luka do his thing. He's gonna step up when he needs to. I think Luka and Austin Reeves are gonna have hell of a series. I do believe these games will be close. Like, I don't think y'all are going to blow the Timberwolves out of the water every single game. I think it's going to be an entertaining series. I just don't trust the Timberwolves to close games. I don't trust them to be consistent quarter to quarter, literally. They have great pieces. Like, on paper, they've got a solid bench, deep bench. They've got scorers. They got guys that can shoot. But they also got guys that can shoot you out of a game. Anthony Edwards, as great as he is, he can shoot you out of a game. Julius Randle can shoot you out of a game. All the guys they have on the bench, DiVincenzo, Naz Reid, Rob Dillingham, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and then Jaden McDaniels. Like, I feel like Rui and Jaden McDaniels cancel each other out. Like, they just going to do exactly the same thing. You don't have anybody to put on Luka, and whoever you put on Luka, you don't have to put on LeBron. Then you still got to worry about Austin Reeves.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Tough. I think, like, ultimately for me, it's going to be more of the same from what we saw last year. Luka against the Wolves, like, he's going to get Gobert out in space. I don't really think there's a defender the Wolves have that Luka can't take advantage of. Like, I think in theory, like, you put Jaden McDaniels on him, he gave Jaden McDaniels hell last year. You put Rudy Gobert on him, that's barbecue chicken. You put Ant on him, good luck. He want to put Julius on him. Cool. So we'll figure that out too. Like, I just don't think there's anything they can do. I think he's pretty much just a nightmare for them. 5 games last season, Luka put up 32, 10, and 8 on 47, 43, 85 splits versus the Wolves. And that was
insane.
That's without having LeBron James next to him.
He was the best, the definitive best player on his team.
Easily.
Like now, I guess there's a bit of an argument, but that's insane. You said 40?
47 from the field, 43 from 3, and 85 from the line.
How many? He averaged 40. That's what
he averaged 32, 10, and 8.
Oh, I don't know why I heard you say 42.
I'm saying the splits. He shot 47, 43, 85.
No, I heard you say 42, 10, and 8. And I was like, whoa.
Damn.
But I mean, it's believable. It's believable.
Yeah. I think the Lakers have 3 of the 4 best players in the series. I think 2 of the 5 players in the Wolves starting lineup will be a liability on the floor. Where do you hide Mike Conley? I think he's not a great defender. You want to put him on Austin? That's barbecue chicken. That is fucking barbecue chicken. If you watch Austin Reeves play this season, I'll live with that. Austin will, and Luka and LeBron are fine with Austin giving whoever 40, and we'll figure it out. And so I think that's tough for them. And we're gonna play Rudy Gobert off the floor. And I already talked about how Julius Randle's a career playoff dropper. The Lakers have defended Anthony Edwards pretty well this year. We swarm him, we blitz him, we trap him, we make him make decisions out of the double team, which he isn't the best at, but he has gotten better at. In 4 games this year, Ant scored under 20 twice, under 10 once, and under 30 in all 4 games. So I think that we do defend Ant pretty well, and I think that they're just not going to have an answer for Luka. And even if they do, we have the fucking greatest player of all time. So I'm taking the Lakers in 6. And that is our Western Conference series, just like we did for the East. Next round, that would set up, well, I guess we have different brackets. For me, it would set up Thunder Nuggets. For you, it would set up Thunder Clippers. And then it would both set up for us Warriors Lakers. Which is what the NBA wants.
Grab your popcorn. Grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen.
So, those are our Western Conference and Eastern Conference first round playoff predictions. And so now we can dive on into our NBA awards. I think we pretty much discussed MVP last week. My MVP has not changed. My MVP is still Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Best player on a 68 win team. 60. That's fucking nuts. On a 68 win team. Putting up a historic, like Jokic putting up a crazy season. He somehow got the Nuggets to 50 wins, but Shai's averaging 33, 6, and 5, a steal and a block a game. Only 3 players in NBA history have averaged over 32 points, 5 and 6 on 60% true shooting, and over 2 steals and blocks a game. Michael Jordan did it 3 times. James Harden did it twice, and now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So
every time somebody does something insane,
it's like
Michael Jordan's name is the first name that always pops up, bro. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, and so I don't know. They have the best point differential in NBA history, the most double-digit wins. Like, he's the best player on the best team we've seen in like 10 years. So I'm taking Shai. Who's your MVP?
Shai's been my MVP since January. At one point I was like, Jokic still has a case, but this is when the Nuggets were second in the West. Now they've dropped to 5, and I mean, 50 wins is no small task. Like, winning 50 games in a season, that's a very successful season. You go 50 and 32, you're usually a top 4 seed in your conference. Unfortunately, they're top 5 just because of season series matchups or whatever. Doesn't change the fact that Jokic is still the best player in the league. But I think Shai has been the best player on the best team. I mean, you can make the argument that he is the best player in the league, but I'm not going to argue with you because you're insane.
No.
I think the way he's improved even from last year, when people thought he should have won MVP last year, he's taken an even better leap. He's shooting better from 3. He's shooting about the same from mid-range. But, I mean, he was already averaging 30.
Yeah.
So now he's averaging 34, 33, 34. or 32. Sorry,
I think 32.7, but yeah, 33.
So 33.
Yeah,
and he's had multiple 50-point games. There was a time where he had scored double digits in as many consecutive games, more than James Harden in his MVP season, and more than Kobe in his 05-06 season. And it was like inching closer and closer to Michael Jordan. I was like, oh, please get it. He finally passed him. He's just having one of the greatest seasons, individual seasons we've ever seen. And it sucks for Jokic because Jokic is also having one of the best individual seasons we've ever seen. He's averaging a triple-double. And
just like
I know
it sucked
Westbrook
for fucking Shea last year, it happens.
Yeah, exactly. And it sucked for Luka. Like when Jokic won another time and Luka was averaging 38 and 8. It's tough. It's not always about who's the best player in the league. It's about who's having the best season and whose team is reaping the rewards of the contributions you make on the floor. Now, granted, OKC has the best team by far all season, but you cannot argue with a guy that's averaging damn near 33 points on historic efficiency, and the team is almost won 70 games.
Yeah. Assuming Shea, I wanted to ask you this, Mr. Basketball Historian. Assuming Shea wins MVP, can you name me all of the guards to win MVP since 2000?
Since 2000?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 guards to win MVP since 2000. Two of them won it twice.
Yeah, I know those two. So I'll knock those out the way. That's Steve Nash and Steph.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Rose.
Yep.
James Harden.
Yep.
How many I got left?
3.
Since 2000, Kobe.
Yep. You got one.
Russell Westbrook.
Yep.
Russell Westbrook.
It's the furthest back. It's the furthest.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a hint I can give you that doesn't give up the answer.
Is he like he's an all-time great player?
Yeah, he's like iconic.
Iverson.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm bugging. I'm like, wait, yeah, Iverson.
Yeah, boom. Good shit. That's my basketball historian right there. So we both got Shea. Who's your DPOY? Because I changed mine after looking things up. And it might be a controversial one. I don't know. But I want to know who's your DPOY.
Mine is Evan Mobley.
Yeah. That was who mine was.
I don't even think it's controversial though. You can make the argument Evan Mobley is the best defensive player in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You can also make the argument that his defense. I'm gonna give him the same argument that I give Bam Adebayo every single year. So if you're the best defensive player in the league for your season, and you still have to give contributions on offense that take away from the energy that you need to give on defense, but your production doesn't drop off, that is some of the most impressive, like, intangible basketball that you can ask for. If you got a guy that has to, oh wow, Caleb Williams bitch ass on my TV. If you have a guy that has to switch on every possession, defend the paint, jump out, switch on a guard, play drop, hedge a screen, like literally do every single technique in the book. And then on offense, you're asking him to score 15 to 20 points a game. And your team is the best team in your conference. And he's already been a perennial all defensive player in the past. What is the argument? I'm not sitting here arguing metrics. I'm not sitting here arguing advanced stats. We're just talking hoops.
Mm-hmm.
He guards the best player, most of the best players on every team. I don't think you really want to put him on a guard per se, but sometimes they have to. And he usually guards the best wing on every team. When the Celtics play, he's guarding Tatum. When they play the Magic, he's guarding Paolo. When they play the Bucks, he's on Giannis. And they don't send help. So I feel like Defensive Player of the Year has been a disservice to my guy Bam, and I feel like they need to get it right. And I think Evan Mobley is a Bam disciple. I'm gonna say that they are very similar in the way they approach their game. I think Evan Mobley's more polished offensively, but defensively it's really close. Like they both do the same things very well. I just think Mobley's bigger, so he has a bigger impact. And they can't mess this one. Like, please don't pick Amen Thompson for the optics.
That's my pick, though. That's my pick.
Oh,
my pick is Amen Thompson.
Don't pick. I hope it's not Draymond Green. I really hope it's not Draymond Green.
Nah, I'm cool off the Draymond. It's
Amen is my number 2 though.
Award. It's a full season award, and the Warriors defense has not been amazing the entire season. And so Amen is my number 2. Is my pick for DPOY. I was on Team Mobley, and then I started digging into it deeper, and I was like, damn, he might be. I think he is the best perimeter defender in the league. He might be the best, most versatile defender in the league. He averaged a steal and a block per game, but when he was when he was the nearest defender to the offensive player, opponents shot 9.7% worse. That's insane. 9.5% worse within 10 feet and 5.5% worse within 15 feet. So just him being in your area made you shoot the ball worse than your average. And I just think he's great in the fast break. He's one of the most disruptive players on ball. He usually guards the team's best player. And I was thinking what makes him a better defender than Lou Dort? Because Lou Dort also usually guards the team best player, and the Thunder are the technical best defense in the NBA. And so I started looking at it, and Lou Dort, when he's off the court, when he's on the court, the Thunder actually give up 2.4 more points per possession than when he's off the court. When Amen Thompson is on the court, the Rockets give up 1.6 points per possession less. So he is just more impactful, and I think he's just the more versatile guy. He spent 28% of his time guarding point guards, 31% of his time guarding shooting guards, 13 guarding small forwards, 15 guarding power forwards, 10% guarding centers. He's just guarded every single position you could ask for in the NBA. A+ matchup difficulty according to Basketball Index. As an interior defender, he got graded in the 89th percentile of rim protection, and he's a 6'7" guard, maybe wing hybrid.
Nah, he's a wing.
Yeah,
he's like a small forward, power forward.
And so I just think that overall, I think he does struggle a little bit in screen navigation, which is where I think Lou Dort has him beat. But when it comes to just perimeter ISO defense, or just, hey, Amen Thompson, we need you to guard this guy, no matter if he's a 1 or a 2 or a 5 or a 4. I think Amen is the best player in the league at that in year 2. And that's fucking scary. And it's not like the Rockets were some dog shit defense. They were the 5th best defense in the NBA. So I'm taking Amen Thompson. I don't think he's going to win it. I think it's probably going to go to Draymond or Mobley or some big. It realistically, it's Wemby, but he didn't hit the game mark.
It would have absolutely been Wemby.
Yeah. But I ended up siding with Amen Thompson. So
my question for you is, and this is not strictly for defensive player to your purposes. This is just for general conversation. Does making the argument that someone is more versatile mean that they are better? Because I don't always think that's true. So I remember I'll say back in 2016, 2017, when people used to argue, who's the better defender, LeBron or Jordan? And the first argument people would make for LeBron is, oh, well, he can guard all 5 positions. Mm-hmm. And I would always say, but does that mean he's better? Just because you can throw a guy in at the 5, it may not be preferred, but sometimes coaches do that because you don't have another option. At that point, you just can't do anything else. And their defense is not negative. So
no, I get that. I think
so. What is you?
If we're talking about specifically Amen Thompson, I think he is. If I think if we're talking specifically about Amen Thompson, I think he's a better perimeter defender than Lou Dort. So that already knocks it out for me. And then between him and Mobley, I think he's better defending bigs than Mobley is defending guards. And I think they're both great defending their position. And so if I'm going between the two of them and they're both great doing what they're supposed to do, I'm going to take the one that's better doing what they're not supposed to do. And if it comes to like just in general versatility, I don't know if it means that they're better. I just think it means like in the grand scheme of basketball, like I would just rather have guys that can do more on the court. Because like shit happens. You might get switched on to, I don't know, like if Rudy Gobert was a better perimeter defender, that Luka shot might not happen, like, and so I think that like in those situations where it's like we can game plan everything that we need to game plan, we can try and make it so that you guard the player that you're best at guarding. But in high leverage situations when, oh shit, Jaden McDaniel switched off and now Rudy Gobert is in open space against Luka, it's like, oh shit. Where it's like, I would rather just have the guy where I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I think depending on, I guess, the team that the Bulls are coming back, by the way, only down 13. They were down 20 something at one point.
Only down 13.
I think, listen, 13 with 11 minutes left, that ain't that much.
Enjoy the 15.
But I think the reason I asked you was because I feel like it is a conditional argument based on what your team needs from you. So I think 3 guys that I'll just throw out there that I think are probably the 3 most versatile guys in the league. Well, 4. So you said them, and I agree with you. I'll say Bam as well, because we all know Bam is probably, for bigs, he's probably the best perimeter defender as a big. And then I'll throw Draymond and Evan Mobley out there. So like in this case, I would say the 4 best defenders in the league. And I mean, if that's what you want to say, overall, it's those 4. I wouldn't argue with you. And you can throw Dyson Daniels in there or Lou Dort in there as number 5. I think in this case, versatility is more valuable, especially in today's NBA when everybody can step out and shoot for the most part. Everybody can put the ball on the floor. Everybody has a go-to move. It's just you're asked to do more on both sides of the ball. So I think maybe 10 years ago when positions had different expectations, like you weren't asking your center to shoot a 3. You weren't asking your power forward to run your offense. I think the demands of the best defender on the team has changed. Like the best defender used to be whoever your best rim protector was most of the time. Outside of like the Bruce Bowen, the Tony Allen guys. Now it's like whoever is 6'7", 6'8", and can guard the best guard and the best wing. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you.
No, I think that's a good conversation. And I think it's like basketball philosophy shit. Like teams build their like GMs build their teams different ways.
You gotta sacrifice something to be successful at something else. Like the whole small ball thing, like guys giving up size in order to gain some shooting.
Who hit it? Yo, I need one more Kobe White bucket, gang. Let me know if he get a bucket.
Wow,
he got 17
foul on Hero.
He got 17. I need 18, brother.
He kicked his leg out. Tough.
But yeah, I think it's a good conversation for sure. I ultimately think they probably end up giving it to Draymond or Evan Mobley. I think
Draymond's gonna get it. I think Draymond's gonna get it. But I think Evan Mobley should. Evan Mobley's been, to me, I mean, I have Evan Mobley 1, men 2. So I think either I'll be fine with either one of them getting it. I just don't want Draymond to get it, not because I don't think he's deserving. I just feel like you need to have a case for the entire season. And they did this with Marcus Smart, 3 years ago, when nobody was talking about Marcus Smart. It was like a Rudy Gobert, Bam, back and forth. And then all of a sudden, Marcus Smart said, "Hey, why y'all not talking about me?" And then the media said, "Oh, you're right, Marcus Smart. We should be talking about you." And then they gave it to him. I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah. I feel that. I think the Marcus Smart shit, even the Rudy Gobert shit, has cooked a lot of defensive
You're right.
like
Anthony
argument.
Davis doesn't have a defensive player of the year.
Nope.
Anthony
Doesn't
Davis is
have.
one of the best defenders of this generation.
Yep. And I used
Crazy.
to have to argue that all the time, and now I don't. So shout out Luka Doncic. And so now we go to Rookie of the Year. This one was another one that probably would have been wrapped if the person did get injured. I think it was easily Jared McCain before he got hurt. He was like doing shit that hasn't been done to Jordan. And I mean, the 76ers were a dumpster fire of a team, but so he was shooting as much as he wanted, but he didn't hit the game's mark. He tore his ACL. And so for me, it was between Ricochet and Stephon Castle. I ended up picking your UConn boy. I think that he was really good this year on a team that was a lot of different things at a lot of different points during the season. Like, I think they had Wemby and Chris Paul, and that was its own thing, and he's trying to figure it out. And then midway through the year, they get De'Aaron Fox, and he's trying to figure that out. And then De'Aaron Fox goes down, so he's just playing out there with Jeremy Sochan and Julian Champagny, and it's like a lot going on in his rookie year. Greg Popovich has a stroke and isn't their coach anymore. Like, it's just a lot that happened. And I think that, he handled it all pretty well. He wasn't super efficient. I think he was 52.1% true shooting, 28% from three. A lot of rookies aren't efficient their rookie year. But he was really good in the pick and roll. He ran 600 pick and rolls, 150 isolation possessions. He had 34 games with at least 5 assists. Zachary Ricochet had 0. Granted, he's playing with Trae Young. And he was great on defense. And honestly, so was Ricochet, but they guard Stephon Castle took the hardest matchup, the hardest guard on basically every team they played. He guarded Dame, he guarded Steph, he guarded Ja. Like, he was 97th percentile in matchup difficulty. Like, as a rookie going out there guarding the best guard on every team, I think it does something for your case. And I think he kind of ran away with it towards the end of the year for me. And so, yeah, who'd you end up picking?
It's Castle. It should be Castle. I don't think there's really an argument for anyone else. I don't think any other rookie has been consistent enough. I think the argument when we always talk about rookie of the year is they're rookies. Like, you don't expect guys to come out averaging 20. There's no Cooper Flag in this class. So when Jared McCain came out and he was averaging about 20, 22 on insane shooting, it was eye-opening because a lot of the times rookies don't average more than 15 to 16 points. And I think Castle's game is more intangible than people want to give it credit for. He's a great defender. You play at UConn, you got to play defense, or Dan Hurley's going to tear your fucking head off. That's just how it is. He's a great athlete. I personally, when he came into the year, I remember during the draft process, he said he wanted to be scouted as a point guard. And I was like, huh? He didn't play point guard all year at UConn. Or his 2 years at UConn. And I had worries about, well, maybe him being the primary point guard wouldn't be a great thing for the Spurs, at least in his first year. So going in and him not having to be the primary guard was a great thing. Like, having Chris Paul definitely helped him. And he's a great combo guard. I think he's got some subtle tools that some people just don't have. Like, he's very patient on offense. His shooting can improve, but he doesn't really try to do too much. There's no wasted movement in his arsenal. It's kind of Jimmy Butler-like, and he's a great athlete, so he can kind of out-quick you or step through you in some sense. He's a bigger guard than most like to give him credit for, and he played on a roller coaster team, really. Like, coming into the year, people had the Spurs making the play-in, and then they get De'Aaron Fox, and it's like, oh, they're going to be in the playoffs. Then Wemby goes down. So now all of a sudden, in the span of 3 months, Stephon Castle went from being the rookie that they are hopeful for to the best player on the team in a matter of 3 months. So it's been a lot, and shout out to him for being as consistent as he probably could be. In an underwhelming class, to be honest, but he's the one that shined the most, him and McCain. And I think he's going to have a good career. I really like what he's done, and that's not my bias. I just think he's a solid player.
Yeah. I think we're pretty agree. I'd be shocked if he didn't win it. I think that's pretty consensus.
But who would like who's the other person you pick? Ricochet or the Alex
Yeah,
Sarr?
not Alex Sarr. Fuck no. Ricochet probably. He had a good end of the year. Especially like Jalen Johnson went down, and then he kind of had to take on a little bit higher of a role, and
Yeah.
he was pretty good. But like, I just think all things considered, like that back half of the season, he's still playing with Trae Young. You know, like he's still not the number one guy there. I think that back end of the year for the Spurs, it's like it's Stephon Castle and you know, it's not a lot
Devin
left.
Vassell.
Yeah,
Devin
yeah.
Vassell and Keldon Johnson.
Keldon Johnson, yeah. So I think I just give Stephon Castle a little bit more credit there. The last one, I mean, the last three are 6-man, coach, and most improved player. Clutch player of the year, I don't really know what the fuck that. Like, I chose Jalen Brunson just because I feel like he has one of, if not the most fourth quarter points in the league. Like, he did miss some time, but like, I think when I think of like clutch moments, clutch shots in the NBA this season, I think of Jalen Brunson. I can't really think of anyone else doing anything too crazy. That's like, I think like it's a pretty foregone conclusion for me. Jalen Brunson's clutch player of the year, but I don't really know what it means. It's just like all vibes.
Yeah.
So
it's usually like they tell you, hey, this is the clutch player of the year. And then they give you all the NBA post the video of all their clutch moments. And you're like, well, you know what? That's pretty justified.
yeah,
I don't know what.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they do crunch time minutes and fourth quarter points. They try to balance it out. But yeah, there's no like baseline criteria for clutch player of the year. I didn't even put that on my thing. Like I forgot that was a thing.
They have clutch stats, and it's like the last couple minutes of the game when the game is tied, or I can't remember what is the criteria, but in terms of points per game in clutch moments, Jalen Brunson is first with 5.6, and then Tyrese Maxey, and then Jokic, and then Trae Young and Edwards.
I was gonna say maybe Jokic before you said that.
Yeah, he's up there.
The Nuggets have been in plenty of close games.
Yeah. Who'd you pick for 6-man of the year?
Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah. What made you?
I think Malik Beasley. I think Malik Beasley has a good argument. Like, I don't think anyone expected him to be averaging 16 points in Detroit. Nonetheless, like Detroit is the surprise of the season. But I picked Peyton Pritchard just because the Celtics haven't been the healthiest team all year. They played games without Drew Holiday. They played games without Derek White. They played games without Jaylen Brown. And when they needed him to step up, Peyton Pritchard comes in the game and gives you 20. And that's all they needed. There was a game where he scored 40. And I mean, like, I know 6-man of the year is for like your bench production, but in certain situations, like even when he was coming off the bench averaging 15 to 18 when they needed him to be. So like his improvement from last year to this year, I think he just carried a momentum from last postseason into this season. Like last postseason, he was fantastic. He's a great offensive player. He's real twitchy and shifty. He's not the most athletic guy, but he's fearless. Like he's not as good as Austin Reeves, but he's like of that same mold to where like they just don't care who's guarding them, and they just have the utmost confidence to take any shot. And shout out to Joe Mazzulla for just instilling that confidence in him to take any shot he wants, because he literally takes some of the most insane shots I've ever seen, and they go in. Like I can't argue with it. He's been the best bench player probably the entire year in totality. So I think Malik Beasley had a stretch in the middle of the season where he was the best bench player. Like statistically, he was averaging 20, hitting 5 threes a game. But overall, the total package, when you come to the end of the season, Peyton Pritchard to me was the most consistent.
Yeah. Peyton Pritchard was mine too. I totally agree with everything you said. Like he was averaging over 40% from 3 on 8 attempts a game coming off the bench. Like he's been honestly their 4th most consistent player, really. Like between Tatum, Derek White, Brown, and then Peyton Pritchard. Like you can count on him. You know what you're getting on a night-to-night basis. I don't know you can say that about Kristaps or Al Horford or any of those, or Drew Holiday even. And so for me, it was Peyton Pritchard. I think an interesting one is most improved. So who'd you go with for most improved player?
So I almost went with Zubac. He was the guy that I was going back and forth with. to the guy that I ended up choosing, which was Cade. A lot of people like to make an argument, and we literally had this conversation like 2 weeks ago in person. And you made the argument that if someone is the top pick in their draft and they are specifically the number one pick, their expectations are higher than that of someone who usually wins most improved. And I agreed with you. But in the same token, I think there is no nitpicking in deciding what improvement is, like what improvement looks like. There is no definition in this is what improvement should look like, and it should only look like this. So to me, this being the first season, did I even say who I picked? Cade Cunningham is my pick. This being the first season where he was fully healthy on a team that had decent expectations, but I don't think anyone expected them to be solidified in the playoffs. He went from a guy who we were just hoping was going to be the number one when he came in, he was getting comparisons to Luka, like legit Luka comparisons, and his expectations were extremely high. And it felt like in a matter of 2 years or 3 years, just because he wasn't playing, everybody kind of just wrote him off. And to me, when guys are hurt, I don't think like giving someone an injury prone label is not fair when they're early in their career. Like the same thing happened to Steph, and he was in his 3rd, 4th, 5th year, and people were like, "Oh, well, Steph's going to play 60 games and it won't matter because the Warriors suck anyway." And that's the same way people were talking about the Pistons. So to come into this year and prove everyone wrong and basically be the hottest team in the East since January, and to do it as to make your case for being one of the best guards in your conference, one of the best guards in the league. You're an all-star, and your team is number 6 in the East, and you have a winning record. Like a lot of these teams in the East are fighting for playoff spots and are 10 games below 500. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Cade. I love his game. I love that he's improved his shot. He's more patient than he's ever been. He's a great playmaker. Sometimes he gets a little out of hand with the turnovers, but I mean, all in all, like what more do you want from the guy? They may be the only team in the play-in that don't have 2 co-stars. Like it's Cade and who?
Cade and Malik Beasley, brother.
I'm literally looking at even. Meanwhile, Tyler Hero has 40. Yeah, this game is over.
Yeah, you guys won.
I'm looking at every single team just in the East. So I would say the Heat have 2 stars, regardless of how you feel about Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. Those are 2 all-star level players. The Bulls don't have any, which is fine. They traded away their best player. The Hawks have Trae Young, and they had Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson got hurt. Tough. The Magic have Paolo and Franz. The Knicks have Jalen Brunson and Cat. The Pacers have Halliburton and Siakam. And the Bucks have Dame and Giannis. Like the Cavs have Brunson, Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and Allen. Like all those guys are all-star level. Like the Pistons don't have a second guy who can make an all-star team. And that's no disrespect to their roster.
No, I mean, I was going back and forth. I actually made the argument that, he's the first overall pick. Like, what do you expect? But I think that I ended up taking Cade. I think that overall, there's something to be said about the leap that he took and the difficulty of the leap. Like, yes, he was the number 1 overall pick, and like expectations were high, but like a lot of the time we don't see these guys take this leap. Like think about like LaMelo is in sort of the same situation. He was getting injured every year, number 3 pick, best player in the team by far, easily the franchise,
asked to be the franchise savior. That's another thing. Like you're asking a 19-year-old kid to save your franchise. And the Pistons have been in the gutter for God knows how long. As a matter of fact, Detroit sports in general had been in the gutter for however long until the Lions had this resurgence in the last 3 years. Like it's more than just him being on a bad team for a team that has expectations. Like there's a cultural city thing behind it too that we don't have to get into, but like playing for the Pistons is a huge thing in Detroit because the Pistons at one point were one of the most successful NBA franchises in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like the bad boy Pistons are a stamp in NBA history. That Pistons team with Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton and Tayshaun Prince and Ben Wallace beat Shaq and Kobe. And they made it to the finals twice and made it to the conference finals 4 times. Like these teams were respected for a long time. And then after 2010, it kind of went to shit. And now they have a reason to go to games again.
Yeah, I think everything you just said, I think in just looking at like the difficulty of what he had to do this year, like I guess you would think their second best player is Jaden Ivey. He goes down. He still finds a way to bring them to 46 wins, 44 wins. And like when they were the literal worst team in the league last year. And what I was saying about LaMelo was like, this doesn't always happen. We've been waiting for this from LaMelo for 5 years. And the Hornets are still just as bad as they were when they drafted them. And so, and you could make the argument that they're more talented. And so, like Miles Bridges is better than anyone else on the Pistons. And so, Brandon Miller, he also doesn't really stay together. But like, I just think that what we saw from Cade this year, difficulty of what he did, becoming a legit All-NBA player, for me, I think he was the best guard in the East this year. Averaged 26, 9, and 5 on 47, 36, 85 splits. Like he was just, and he was guarding probably the team's best player more nights than not, and guarding a bunch of different positions. Like when we think about offensive and defensive load that was put on him on a night-to-night basis, I think like it is a pretty reasonable leap. Zubac made a great leap. He became one of the best defensive bigs in the league overnight. And that's crazy. Dyson Daniels went from being a throw-in in the DeJounte Murray trade to like a reasonable DPOY candidate. But like Cade went from being a possible, will this guy ever figure it out, to a legitimate All-NBA top 20 player in the league. And so like that I have to give some sort of credit to, and that's why he ends up being my most improved player.
He's 23 years old, by the way. Like,
damn,
let's
bro.
not
Let's
not act like he's 26, 20. He's 23.
Exactly.
And this is the first season that he's played more than 65 games. So that's huge to me. Like, I was just looking at his games played throughout his career. First year, he played 64. Then he played 12, and he was out most of the year. Last year, he played 62, and then this year, he played 70. So there's no coincidence that in the season where he played his most games, he had his best season, and his team had the most success.
Yeah. And that brings us to the very last award, Coach of the Year. This one was easy for me. It ends up being Kenny Atkinson of the Cavs. I don't know that anyone expected the Cavs to have this good of a season. Like best offense in the NBA, 121 offensive rating, top 8 defense, and the 3rd best net rating in the league. They're also really good against teams over 500. I'm trying to find it now. They're 28-11 versus teams over 500, which is the second most wins of any team that's not the Thunder. They won 64 games. You know, like I don't think that anyone coming into the season thought that, damn, like there were conversations of Donovan Mitchell leaving the team. And like they ended up putting together that, will Mobley and Allen work? Is Darius Garland even good? And they ended up putting together a 64 win season, 30-11 on the road, 34-7 at home. Won the conference, won the division. Like this is just an all-time great season for the Cavs. And I don't know how you can say it's not them. They were incredible this year. Who's your coach of the year?
My coach of the year is JB Bickerstaff. I am on the Pistons train all the way.
I love him some Pistons.
Yeah. I do. I really do. I mean, Kenny Atkinson is going to win it. I think the only other person that might have a chance is I can never pronounce his name correctly, but OKC's coach. When your team almost,
I call him Marky D.
Mark D. I can't pronounce it. Shout out to him, though, UConn alum. Anyway, I think for like you said, for the Cavs, like everything, just the stars just aligned too well. Kenny Atkinson, I felt like was blackballed from head coaching for a minute. Like he got fired from the Nets because Kevin Durant and Kyrie did not want him as their coach, not because he wasn't a good coach. And he was on the Warriors coaching staff for a few years and then finally got an opportunity and took full advantage of it. And it's ironic that I would pick the guy that was the coach of the Cavs last year and couldn't do anything more with them. They completely reached their ceiling. But I think as a coach, you can make the argument that JB Bickerstaff is a floor raiser, not a ceiling capper or ceiling raiser, whatever the term you want to use. I remember when he was the coach of the Grizzlies before he got the Cavs job, and it's like he's able to have guys buy in, like able to overachieve. And like I said before, the Pistons were not a team that anybody had making any serious runs in the playoffs, and now people are trying to convince themselves that the Pistons can beat the Knicks. Yeah. So, I mean, in a season where the Pistons won 44 games, they have about middle of the pack defensive and offensive ratings and points per game and opponents' points per game. About everything is like 12 and 13th in the league. This is better than anybody expected. Like the Cavs have a roster where you can say, yeah, the Cavs will probably be a top 4 seed. No one had them as number 1, but no one had the Cavs missing the playoffs. And everybody knows what Donovan Mitchell does. Everybody knows Evan Mobley is a great defensive player. Everybody loves Darius Garland when he's healthy. The expectations for the Pistons were just completely different. And I think when you bring in a new head coach and they're on the clock immediately, like you bring in a new coach and you're like, hey, we got Cade Cunningham. I don't know what else we can give you. We can't give you much. And you just got to make it work. Like for Malik Beasley to have his best career season, Cade Cunningham have his best career season, Jalen Duren have his best career season, Asar Thompson come on late in the year to lose Jaden Ivey and still win 46 games. There are teams that I can make the argument that on paper have more talent and are just not as good as the Pistons. Like the Hawks at the beginning of the year, I felt like were better than the Pistons. And the Hawks are fighting for a play-in spot. The Heat at the beginning of the year were better than the Pistons and are fighting for a play-in spot. So, I mean, just for them to exceed expectations the way that they did, to me, I feel like is a testament to how good he is as a coach. Now, I don't know if they can win a championship with him. But
that's not the goal right now. Yeah, I mean, it's the goal, but that's not the expectation. No, I think that's a good point. I think you can definitely make the case for JB Bickerstaff. And so, yeah, I mean, that's our NBA awards.
Damn, we've been potting for a minute. It's 10 o'clock.
I know that's our NBA awards on the dot, 10 o'clock. That's our round 1 playoff predictions. We'll be back next week to talk about NFL draft. And then, yeah, we'll talk about round 2 when we get there and rock with us. So make sure you guys subscribe to Run It Up Podcast everywhere that podcasts are found. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube just to Run It Up Podcast. Find us on TikTok at the Run It Up Podcast and on Twitter at Run It Up Pod. You can find me on Twitter at Najee _Jalaal, Jayson_45. The rest of the guys is down in the description down below. Make sure y'all check out the songs of the week, and I hope you have a litty day, a litty night, a litty life. And just like we do in every episode of this podcast, make sure y'all go run it up.